I had it hard when I was a kid, really, really hard. And so I get a lot of what these kids are going through, and I do what I can to reach out to them.
Most of my life I've never even known my mom, or my real dad.
How can you do foster care and do it genuinely without being a masochist?
Child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Ooh.
2 weeks before his 18th birthday, Alfonso Torres was locked up in the Miami-Dade Regional Juvenile Detention Center, sick with worry about where he would live once he got out. Alfonso, separated from his parents since he was 10, knew that his right to foster care would end on Christmas Eve 2002, the day he turned 18. He was getting out of juvenile hall a week later and had nowhere to go. I called my social worker and asked, what's going to happen when I turn 18? And he says, I don't know. Alfonso felt more depressed than at any other point in his life. I was thinking, how can I stay away from crime if I don't have any place to live? I was more than depressed. I was scared.
By age 16, Monica Romero was skipping school and spending her allowance on drugs. She and her foster mother fought constantly. By 17, she had dropped out of high school and run away to Mexico. For 7 months, her foster mother had no idea where she was. And by 18, Monica was pregnant. For 4 months after her baby's birth, she depended on the kindness of friends, and sometimes strangers, for a place to stay.
Hi, this is Jeanette Schnell with RealityDenied.com. Today we have a guest with us. This is Martha Shirk. Hi, Martha.
Hi, Jeanette.
She wrote a book, a very exciting book. It's called On Their Own, and it's about foster children as they exit the system. Martha, can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with this book? I read the foreword and I saw it was by Jimmy Carter. How did you finagle that?
Well, Jimmy Carter's been involved with children's issues for a long time, and we brought this particular issue to his attention.
We should dream of and plan for a day when fewer foster children require foster care. But until that day comes, we have a moral responsibility to prepare young people leaving foster care to become whole adults who can fulfill their potential and build bright and promising futures.
It's an issue, as you know, Jeanette, that most people have never thought about. What happens to kids when they turn 18 in most jurisdictions and lose their entitlement to foster care? And I think he found compelling, because it is.
It is very compelling. Now, there was a movie that went along with this, correct?
Yes, the documentary is called Aging Out, and it's about 3 other individuals who were on the cusp of aging out of foster care when the documentary maker found them.
I've grown up with over 10 different families ever since I was an infant. How am I supposed to have feelings towards having a family? And I'm aging out, and I'm an adult, for crying out loud.
The only way that I'm gonna make it is if I do it on my own.
I now have a son, and I have a mate, and we need to be a family in our own home.
How come we always have it more difficult than others?
Because we're in a system.
I'm the only one for my whole family who's gonna graduate from high school and not like prison or something.
For me, this was so compelling because I am a foster parent and I take teens and they exit the system, and it usually is more like an explosion into the orbit. Usually, I've yet to have, I think I have 1 or 2 who've actually left and continue to be in college and function within the services that they set up to support them.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
So we're going to be closing your case?
Yes.
You're going to be going on to college, Miss Risa. We never get anyone to emancipate that we really go through. They're going to college, they have a plan, they're going to be working, they're doing this and that. 7 years, this is like the second one I've done. So we are so proud, and I just want you to know we're happy. Risa, we're happy for you. I was bragging. I'm like, my girls graduated already.
Most of the kids bust out of here like it's jail and they're on the run.
Well, most can't wait to get out of foster care. That's true. They think foster care is their enemy. And for many children in foster care, it's an upsetting experience. It's I mean, what they've been through by the time they get to foster care is what's really shaped their view of the world.
How am I supposed to have feelings towards having a family?
But then living with strangers and often moving from place to place every month or two, which is a very common experience, just sets them up to be ready to leave at 18, even though no one at 18 is ready to be on their own.
Happy birthday to you.
You know, part of my view of this issue is informed by having been a parent myself to 3 boys who have made the transition from children to young adults, and I know how much support my children needed as they made that transition, even though they had grown up in an intact family with all of the opportunities that come along with being economically secure and living in a safe environment. And even so, they needed lots of guidance after the age of 18, which is what many youth in foster care don't understand. All they think about is the freedom that they see once they're released by the court.
The Risa Bejarano matter.
Your Honor, as the court is aware, Risa is going off to college in the fall. She's very excited about that. I would ask that the court follow the department's recommendation to keep the case open until she's there and settled, but this will be her last appearance before the court herself.
Congratulations, you've done very well.
But freedom comes with a lot of responsibilities, and most aren't equipped at the age of 18 to deal with it.
I set my adult foster kids down, my teen foster kids. They were 16, 17, 18, and had them watch it. And the reactions varied, with one of them being actually irritated. And most of the children, their attitude was that they're not connected to this. This has nothing to do with their lives.
Well, I think it's very hard to get 16 and 17-year-old youth in foster care to pay attention to how close their emancipation day really is. And while they look forward to the freedom, seeing a documentary like Aging Out, reading a book like On Their Own, it makes them really upset because they are starting to see glimpses of just exactly what is required of living on your own or living outside of a family. And I mean, it's overwhelming to them, I think. I mean, they have no idea how they're going to go about getting housing, how they're going to go about getting medical care, how they will get into school, let alone stay in school. And the easiest thing to do is to just go right into denial and instead dwell in the positives associated with aging out of foster care.
And denial is very powerful. I have a young lady who, she left our home. We didn't see or hear from her for a year, and then we found out that she was living with friends. And when she came back to see us, she was saying, I've been doing it on my own, I've been doing it on my own. And I said, well, haven't you been living with someone who's been allowing you to stay there for free and you haven't paid rent or food? I said, tell me how that is on your own. Because she's managed to save a couple $1,000s towards a car, and she's so proud of doing it on her own, and yet she didn't do it on her own. So that she just doesn't get the connection.
You're right, and I think you raise an important issue. One of the things that's missing once foster youth turn 18 and go out on their own is the kind of pressure from adults to face facts.
It's not cool, I'm telling you. No, you listen to me, okay? That I'm through with you bitching and complaining about me, talking about I have to face facts and all that stuff. I have been facing facts. I mean, come on, it's hard.
I mean, they regard their foster mothers and their caseworkers as nags and pains while they're in foster care. But it's through our kind of adult modeling and reminding them of the complexities of life that they learn about the complexities of life. I mean, that friend of your former foster child is doing her a great favor by giving her a safe place to sleep, but she's not maturing and she's not learning about what it does take to live on her own if she doesn't have responsibility for any of the costs.
Right. Denial.